It's a Bundt.
Bundt.
My Greek ancestors would be so proud of this Bundt cake. I am making a special Mother's Day cake with a fun twist in the middle. So we're gonna start things off with our dry ingredients. And because I love an old school sifter, we're gonna use this kind. I'm gonna sift together 3 cups of cake flour, baking soda, and salt. Cake flour is a great flour for cakes because it has a lighter texture. We want almost like a pancake batter-like consistency. And so this is gonna give us that same result. So I'm really pumped about using cake flour in this. And we're just gonna sift all these things together. Baking is fun, you guys. Everybody needs a sifter. Oh gosh, I got in my eye, sorry. And now we're gonna get going with the other pieces of our cake. So I'm gonna start things off with 2 cups of granulated sugar, and then butter makes everything better. I have a 1.5 cups of melted and cooled butter. And we're just gonna stir this together for about a minute. So we are using the paddle attachment on our mixer for this recipe. The paddle attachment is great for cakes because it aerates the batter without adding in too much air. Now we're gonna add in a little bit of vanilla. Mix that in gently till it's combined. And with this cake, we are gonna take the time to mix everything in individually because we want this batter to be perfect. When you're gonna see, when we go in to build the zebra part of the cake, the batter's gotta be a great consistency and texture so it'll spread in our pan. And now it's time to add the eggs. We're gonna do these one at a time. This cake has a good amount of eggs in it. A Bundt cake is typically a very traditionally rich cake. So that's why we're adding so many eggs. But other cakes that have a lighter texture are gonna not have as many eggs and egg yolks in them. So fun story, you guys. I actually got my start in food styling baking. And from baking, I kind of got interested in like the food science of it and why things work the way they do. So the great thing about learning cooking through baking is that you have to be so particular. It's really necessary when you're baking to be exact, to do everything just as the recipe says. Really don't want to substitute with baking because it can throw off the whole recipe. All right, so we have all of our wet ingredients in except for one thing, milk. So this is a great way to make cakes where we're alternating flour in our last bit of liquid and we're aiming for that great texture. Everything's really well and mixed, but also light and fluffy. So I'm gonna start things out with our flour and I'm gonna add about 1/3 of the flour that we measured out in our baking soda and salt into our batter. And mix it on low so you don't get flour in your hair. Okay, we're gonna add in 1/2 of our milk. Mix that on low till it's combined. You know what, this recipe has a lot of steps, yes, but it's worth it. This is for your mama. She's gonna absolutely love it. It's gonna taste delicious. And this is really special for me to make something for Mother's Day too, because it'll be my first one. Last bit of milk, gonna mix that in and get the rest of this in here. All right, perfect. Okay, now we're gonna make our chocolate zebra layer. I'm gonna start this out with 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, 6 tablespoons of water, and about 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And again, this is gonna be a little bit of that runnier texture as well, so that when we're layering this in the Bundt pan, it's gonna be able to spread it. And you're just gonna whisk this till it's nice and smooth and glossy and there's no little lumps of cocoa powder in there. Okay, so we're gonna take 2 cups of our vanilla batter that we made earlier. And we're gonna add it to our chocolate mixture. And this is gonna make a little bit less for the chocolate batter because we're gonna end up putting more vanilla batter in than the chocolate layer. And we're just gonna stir this together. Again, you don't wanna over stir. You really just wanna gently stir this until it's combined. It looks glossy and beautiful and thick, but it also has that kind of light texture, which is just what we're looking for. So we are ready now to build our zebra cake. Traditional Bundt cake recipes will tell you to actually butter the Bundt pan and then add flour to it and create like a flour butter layer. But what happens is when you turn the baked cake out, there's kind of like a flour-like film that can happen on the outside. This is where Baker's Joy comes in. This is a cooking spray that actually already has flour in it. So it gives you an even like distribution of flour and oil and your cakes will come out perfect every time. It's absolutely amazing and it's perfect for Bundt cakes. How perfect. The joy of baking in a spray can. We're gonna start things off with our vanilla batter, and I want you guys to see how we're building this. So I'm gonna do 2 scoops. See how it's spreading nicely? This is perfect. But what I'm gonna do is just take a spoon, kind of spread it a little bit more so we have kind of an even spread. And then we're gonna do the same thing with our chocolate batter, except we're only gonna do 1 scoop. So again, hang in there. I know there's some extra steps, but I promise you this is gonna be worth it. It is gonna look so cool when you take a slice out of this cake. The reason why I'm only putting the batter to one side of this pan is particular to this recipe. We really wanna create this ribboning effect because that's gonna give us these nice thin layers on our slice, and it's creating the zebra look that we want. So the beautiful thing about a bundt cake is
there's a hole in this cake.
the hole in the center actually allows the batter to spread evenly so that you get this really beautiful bake where the outside crust of the cake is nice and crunchy. It has this great texture, and then it allows the inside to stay really moist. All right, guys, let's finish this off with one more scoop of chocolate and we will be good to bake it. We are gonna put this in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 50 to 60 minutes. You really wanna bake it until it's golden brown, and you can insert a toothpick in there with no crumbs. So we have our beautiful zebra bundt cake out of the oven. It looks amazing. So I baked it for about 60 minutes, and then I took it out of the oven and left it in the pan for about 15 minutes. The longer you let the cake cool in the bundt pan, the more likely it is to stick to the pan. After that, you wanna flip it out onto a cooling rack and let it cool completely, like at least an hour. Because if it's not cool, when we go to make our glaze is gonna be super runny. It's gonna run all over the cake. So we really wanna let it cool completely. So we're gonna start making our strawberry glaze. We have about 2 cups of powdered sugar, and I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract, some fresh lemon juice, and then I'm gonna add about 1/4 cup of strawberry puree. All you need to do is take a cup of chopped strawberries, put it into a food processor, blend it till it gets nice and liquidy, and then you're just gonna strain all the seeds out over your measuring cup. So this is gonna add a nice fresh strawberry flavor to our glaze and give it that pink punch. I'm gonna whisk this together. And so you can see the color I have right now is kind of a lighter pink. I'm gonna add a little bit of red food coloring, but again, just go to what your eye likes. Okay, so we have our glaze ready to go. And this is the fun part. A good tip on how to glaze a bundt cake is starting at the top and just letting the glaze fall. And if you want your glaze a little bit thicker, all you have to do is add more powdered sugar. Can't wait to slice into this. Okay, beautiful, you guys. The Mother's Day moment we've all been waiting for. We get to slice into this beautiful zebra bundt cake. Dun da da da, drum roll. Oh my gosh, holy cow. Look at all those beautiful layers. Look how fine and delicate they are. Look at those swirls. This is exquisite. You can even see that beautiful layering inside the cake. And I'm gonna cut a few more because you know what? We're serving this up. It's Mother's Day. We wanna be generous. Y'all, this cake looks amazing. I love the glaze. The presentation is perfect. And if for some reason your mother or mother-in-law does not like the hole in the center of the cake, you can fix that with flowers.
The bundt cake.
So just prepare yourself. This is a delicious treat that everybody's gonna enjoy. Oh my word. That is so good. This makes a mama so happy, so pleased. I wanna see how your stripes and your cake turned out. Tag @PopKitchen on Instagram, or you can comment below. I wanna know what you guys wanna see me bake next. And meanwhile, I'm gonna eat some more.